Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Rosie, and thanks for joining me on Elevate and Glow. Have you ever noticed how pain can change the way you love? After enough disappointment, betrayal, or heartbreak, many people stop asking, "How can I stay open?" and start asking, "How can I protect myself?" The walls go up slowly. The guarded responses, the emotional distance, the hesitation to trust. And before you know it, the very armor that helped you survive begins keeping people out. Today we're talking about how to heal without becoming hardened. Welcome back to Roots and Wings. Today's episode is called Healing Without Becoming Hardened. Because protecting yourself is important, but losing your capacity for connection, compassion, and softness is not the same thing as healing. When people experience emotional pain, they often develop protective strategies. Some become hyper-independent. Some avoid vulnerability. Some keep relationships at a distance. Others convince themselves that they no longer need anyone. And honestly, those responses make perfect sense. If you've been hurt, your nervous system wants to prevent that pain from happening again. It's trying to keep you safe. The problem is that protection can gradually turn into isolation. There's a difference between having healthy boundaries and building emotional walls so thick that nothing meaningful can get through. Healthy boundaries say, "I know my worth, and I won't tolerate harmful behavior." Emotional walls say, "No one gets close enough to hurt me." One creates safety, the other creates distance. I remember reaching a point where being guarded felt safer than being open. It felt easier to expect disappointment than to risk hope. Easier to stay detached than to become invested. And for a while, that strategy worked. I avoided certain kinds of pain. But I also noticed something else. I was avoiding certain kinds of joy. Connection became harder. Trust felt foreign. And vulnerability felt absolutely dangerous. The armor was protecting me, but it was also limiting me. That's when I realized healing isn't about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming resilient. Resilience is different from hardness. Hardness closes. Resilience bends without breaking. Hardness says, "I'll never let anyone in again." Resilience says, "I can be open and still protect myself." One of the most difficult parts of healing is learning that strength and softness can coexist. You can have boundaries and still be compassionate. You can be cautious and still be hopeful. You can protect your peace without shutting down your heart. This doesn't mean trusting everyone, of course, but it doesn't mean ignoring red flags or pretending past wounds never happened. It means refusing to let pain define the person you become. Because bitterness often begins as unprocessed hurt. And if we're not careful, we can start organizing our lives around avoiding pain instead of pursuing connection. Healing invites a different approach. It asks, what would it look like to be wise without becoming cynical? To be protected without becoming closed off? To remain tender in a world that hasn't always been gentle? Those are not easy questions, but they matter. Because the goal of healing is not to become someone who feels nothing. It's to become someone who can feel deeply without losing themselves. And that kind of strength is quiet. It doesn't need walls to prove it exists. If you've been protecting yourself by becoming emotionally guarded, be gentle with yourself. Those defenses developed for a reason. But you are allowed to evolve beyond them. You are allowed to build boundaries that protect your peace while still leaving room for love, trust, and connection. Healing does not require you to become hard. It asks you to become whole. Thanks for listening to Roots and Wings. And remember, roots grow strong through stability, not rigidity. And wings unfold best when they are supported by both wisdom and openness. Until next time, elevate and glow.